the vibration of the human heart has been measured outside of the body like 3 feet at least, and has been shown to interact with the vibrations of the hearts around it. So when we come within that proximity to each other, then our heart vibrations start to interact. And I think a natural part of that is that we can feel each other's emotions. And so that's empathy, and also I think clairsentience, the ability to feel situations. And we all get that on a daily basis. We're feeling into situations, whether we're paying attention to it or not is another story. But I think it's a defense, or I should say a survival mechanism in a way. We should be able to sense whether a situation is dangerous or safe for us, or something that will help us or not help us. So I think it's a basic ability we all have as part of who we are as humans here in this realm on Earth, where it's not always safe. We need to be able to read into situations. And I think a lot of that comes from the heart. The heart has been shown in some ways to be an organ of higher consciousness, where some people have received heart transplants and started to have visions that didn't belong to them. There's one really interesting story where one person received the heart of someone who had been murdered and had such vivid, accurate visions that she helped the police solve the murder of the donor. And so the heart is something really special, and I think it connects us all to each other. And so I think that's partly one of our strongest abilities is clairsentience, the ability to feel into situations. And claircognizance is really similar, where it's clear knowing. I just know it. I don't know how I know it, but I know. And then it comes true. And I think that is also very related to clairsentience. And I don't think there's a dividing line in between those two, but if we know what to call it, then it can help us understand it better and develop it more easily. So claircognizance and clear knowing is said to have come from the solar plexus chakra. And I think very much like clairsentience, it's a survivable mechanism for us, and it helps us help other people as well, just like empathy. If we didn't understand what other people were experiencing, then we wouldn't be able to help them in the same way. So I think those are two really basic ones we all have. And the way to feel those more is to slow down, to quiet the mind. There's so much energy that has been measured with our machinery that we don't pick up with the physical senses. And so when we tune out of the bandwidth of physical perception, then we start to pick up on those other energies. And that's sometimes each other, sometimes it's spirit. And so that's a big key to this. A lot of people think they don't have clairaudience or clairvoyance. So clairaudience is clear hearing, clairvoyance, clear seeing. And a lot of people think they don't have that because they expect it to be very loud or very visible through the physical senses. And that's not usually how it comes. It usually comes as our own thoughts. I need a little sip of water, excuse me. So one end of that spectrum of clairaudience is, oh, who just said that? Who just called my name? There's nobody here. And the other end of it is, why'd I have that weird thought? One of the most obvious moments of that for me was one day when I was just carrying a cup of tea to my desk and I had overfilled it and I wasn't thinking about anything except don't spill it. When suddenly I had this, what seemed like a random thought, head-on collision. The only spirit that this person I was calling wanted to talk to was someone who had died in a head-on collision. And it was just a random thought. That's what it felt like to me. Clairvoyance or seeing is really similar, where you just have a thought of almost like someone described it to me as remembering a photograph, but it's like you have a thought of a vision in your mind. Like, why would I have that thought?